I wanted to have my main character become the stranger in the strange land, become the alien, see the world through alien eyes, but still with a human perspective. So he was a human in an alien body trying to integrate into an alien society. And I wanted that idea of trying to learn the other culture. And of course, the first key to that is always language.
What's he saying?
I had done some of that stuff before I ever met with a linguist. I was just basing it on my sort of casual acquaintance with some Polynesian languages, some other languages that had these kind of various, symbols and indicators for pronunciation. So then when I started working with Dr. Paul Frommer, he got excited by that. He said, "What does this apostrophe mean to you?" I said, "Well, it's just the way you pronounce that word." He said, "Okay, let's work with that and we'll incorporate that into it." And then he went miles and miles beyond those initial ideas.
He wanted something that didn't sound like anything that we've ever heard before, but also that sounded like something that was doable in the sense that the actors could master it. He showed me some of the words that he had come up with, and that gave me a sense of the kind of sounds he had in mind. And so at that point, I kind of built from there.
It's
all the lines that were to be spoken in Na'vi first appeared in English, and then it was up to me to turn that into Na'vi. Once I had the elements of the language in place, it was pretty much a translation exercise, except that I didn't have a dictionary. I was the one who created the dictionary, so of course I had to create the words as well as put them together into sentences.
When I started the job, I asked if I could meet with Paul, who was writing the language, and he was still in the process of writing it at that point. So every actor that came in, whether they were coming in for human into an avatar or a Na'vi role, all the auditions have them sitting there doing and all this sort of stuff.
Basically what they did was you walk in there, casting director says, "Okay, you're gonna do the audition, but you're not gonna do it in English."
No more son de lector!
I know a lot of people that got pissed and they walked out of there angry.
Tenemos las damas, más que nosotras!
And I just remember, I was speaking gibberish, and I walked out, and I was like, nobody's gonna like that. That was awful. I was embarrassed. Ne, ni, no, mu.
They responded to it, and more than anything, my performance came through.
Metiri, ¿por qué me decías delante de nosotras, mater?
Like a month and a half later, I get a call, and they're like, "Jim wants to meet you." I'm like, "Over that?"
You're Jake, right? Tom's brother. Wow, you look just like him.
Sigourney and I had been through an experience early in both our careers that was a huge break for both of us. She got an Academy Award nomination for playing a character in a science fiction movie, which was almost unprecedented.
Get away from her, you bitch!
But that was, 23 years earlier. In a funny way, I'd almost discounted working with Sigourney because we had done Aliens and because it was a science fiction film about an encounter with an alien species. I thought, that might be a little too close to home. But then I thought, idiot. She's perfect for this character. She can do an amazing job with Grace Augustine, and Grace Augustine is not Ripley. I'm changing her name.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want to do Ripley and Shipley.
All righty.
Let's say it's going to be Grace Augustine.
Frankly, it's thrilling to be working with Jim again, since we did Aliens, but also to be in the first movie he's wanted to do since Titanic, and to see how excited he is about the writing, the shooting, the this, the that, the joy he has of working on this finally. He's quite unique, I think. Really unique.
And I just felt that there was an interesting spin on her being involved in a story in which we are the aliens. The word alien is used in the film. It's used by the Na'vi, speaking of us. So there's an interesting irony there.
It's such a great adventure, and it's also at the same time a great love story. Also very much about big business and their blindness to the destruction they cause.
As we got the actors, it kind of fell into place that we would incorporate the actor into the design, and kind of came up with an idea that it would be great to try to retain the mouth and some of the facial characteristics of that actor so that that actor's performance would come through. And to develop Zoe, who plays Natiri, we actually went to set and put her through a whole battery of photographs. And then on top of the actress's photograph, then we would turn her into a Navi.
So we did complete turnarounds, all different angles of the head and neck. And this is the photograph that I used to start this image here. We took this through at least 50, 60 versions.
For each actor, we put them through a life cast process, which we used for our designing purposes when it came to a 3D sculpture. Look at that. It's absolutely fantastic. What an incredible cast, I must say.
No eyebrows in there?
Oh, your eyebrows are right there.
They're still on your head.
Which in turn get scanned into computer files, which are sent to Weta, and then they will then work off of this design that we've done and help bring those to life.
It was very important for us to put all of our actors through a training regimen that was specific to their characters.
Everything they say, everything they do, every physical part of their performance is all done by actors. It's captured performance. And this applies to Sam Worthington's character and all the other characters as well that are Navi or avatars. How they move, how they breathe, how they stand, everything had to be created by them.
So Sam, we had him learn Navi.
Navi get the LCV.
We had him work out with a trainer.
Sam had to do military training, and he worked with my brother. He's a former Marine. He fought in Desert Storm. So we got, some of his Marine Corps buddies, and they took him out, put him through his paces. And that gave him a little bit of the mindset to draw from to play his character.
Nothing that I'm giving you, Sam, is outside of standard combat mode for joining.
They want you to kind of be proficient with weaponry and stuff like that because the guys in the Marines. So I wanted to actually meet other Marines.
On round 4 times. Go, go, go.
To me, it was more the way these guys see the world and the way that their training has made them think. And nothing can stop them. And it's drilled into them to achieve their mission. You got the man next to you, and if he goes down, you pick him up and you keep going.
Keep going.
You got it, Sam. Let's go.
Keep going, keep going.
Another mag. Waiting on you. Let's go.
You know, that gave me a base to jump from. So that was the best training I had.
Welcome to our world. Hey, fuck it. See, push.
I should just drop here.
Zoe went through a tremendous amount of training, as did Laz and CCH. She went through horseback training, archery training, movement training, dance training, language training.
To say we did a lot of training is an understatement. We actually had to learn how to walk like a Navi. We had to learn how to do everything from our core. They only exhibit speed or power when they absolutely have to until they explode. And when they explode, I mean, they move like the wind.
They worked with the movement coach, Terry Notary, and Terry came up with certain ways of moving that involved the way the chest and the spine would move to create some kind of animal grace, some power in the step.
We work with each actor as a whole and then separate them and work with them as individuals so that they can first create a base technique. So there's some inspiration coming from different sources. It's not an ape or it's not a cheetah. It's a combination of a bunch of things that the character is inspired by.
Without Terry Notary, we would have a species that would talk a different language, but would walk human and react as humans do.
Terry worked with the complete cast to create a unity of movement and create a believability in this culture that they had grown up together.
There's a connection between the people and their environment. This is part of how they get their strength. This is part of how they survive. This is part of them getting energy. We play around with all of that.
There were some big dance numbers that got cut out of the movie, but her choreography, her movement that she created is still very much a part of the film. When you see all the ceremonial stuff where they're swaying and rocking around and throwing their arms in the air in these very precise time signatures, all of that was created by Lula and by her troupe.
I got a hold of Zoe and we taught her how to run, how to jump on a wire, how to shoot her bow. That was one of the biggest things we had to work with for her, is how to shoot this bow and arrow more different than ever has been done before.
Zoe was the first person we started to teach the bow work to. Zoe's a lefty. So once we established that they were lefties, we said all of them are be lefties. Jim came up with the idea of, this is such a human gesture. Let's just do this. And all of a sudden, it's no longer human feeling. And it also accentuates the idea that the Na'vis only have 3 digits.
It wouldn't work very well for a human, but the Na'vi are subtly different in terms of their biomechanics, and you can see that in their upper body musculature and so on, especially in the males. The archery teacher came to me puzzled, and he says, all right, you're showing the actors one way of doing it, but you're having me teach them proper archery. And I said, well, I want them to respect the power of the bow, and I want them to understand the focus, the breathing, and all those things that you can teach them.
That strength has to project from the core of your body through the bow arm towards the target. And if nothing else, you think of your target as boom. Think of your target as boom.
We had 2 instructors from the Olympic team come to help work with our actors. And we showed them this idea of doing it backwards. And at first they were very skeptical.
And he said, you know, you can't shoot a bow that way. And I said, really? You can't? Come with me. So I got a bow from the prop man, and I got an arrow, and I walked out behind the studio, and I said, you see that bush over there that's about 75 meters away? He said, yes. And I went, like that, and hit it. And he said, oh, you can shoot a bow that way. Because I'd been out there practicing. And I got lucky with that one shot, but I hit it.
Let's go through the first page of background dialogue part 1.
What we've done is we've really worked on it as a company of actors. And what we've been doing in the last couple of weeks is having them speak their way of speaking Na'vi to each other.
What we've just been doing is to have Zoe and Lance come up and just do a little bit of the dialogue so that Wes can hear what we've established, so that rhythmically and so on, he can kind of match up, and he's doing great.
So that we're artificially creating that melting pot.
It's a part of your costume. It's part of who you become. So you want it to become natural and fluid. Well, I'm lucky because the characters only just learns it over the course of the movie. So if I slip up, it helps the character.
Naughty. Naughty. Naughty.
Naughty.
Paul Frommer had created a language. He wasn't creating an accent. So I basically said, Zoe, you get to establish what Na'vi sounds like and what the Na'vi accent sounds like, because you're the one with the most lines. And then everybody else is just going to have to try to match you as best they can.
It's very hard because how do I speak English with an accent? I barely speak English all in itself.
The one who interprets the will of Ava.
To me, it's been the most challenging thing, is to speak English with a Na'vi accent.
I need your help.
You should not be here.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. Joblo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.